Hey guys, we are live again. Welcome back to the stream. We have our speakers that are going to wow you guys with what they're bringing to the conference with our voices behind the movement. Today I have Nikki Tate. Okay, we do know Nikki from being a speaker at previous events for when the garden party. She's been able to curate wonderful experiences for us with her talents. But today we're going to be talking about Nikki being a speaker at the conference coming up on March 6th and 7th. And this is different because we are bringing all generations into one room. So let's start off with introductions because Nikki has her power color here. Okay, that fire rate is bomb. I want her to introduce herself. So who are you, Nikki? Let everyone know.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nikki Tate. I am the owner and founder of the Poison Bar, which is a non-alcoholic slash adaptogen bar for those sober curious, those practicing sobriety, or who simply don't drink. Overall, I teach people how to have fun and fulfilled lives and redefining their lives without alcohol. I also work in agriculture. I'm kind of like agriculture meets mixologist because my background is in agriculture, which at the garden parties, I do speak about my background in agriculture and teaching people about herbs and things like that. And so I use that experience to create the poison bars, non alcoholic wines, and other adaptogen drinks.
And Nikki knows how much I love what she does because it's the first time I heard, a lot of those terminologies, sober curious and sober friendly this and sober. Listen, there's a lot of healthy ways that we're rekindling our bodies. And so I love how you are taking natural herbs and applying it to everything else you do. So before we go into any of those areas, let's talk about the conference. Something that I believe you kind of brought to the table a little bit that I think people will powerfully see at the conference is breaking the generational gaps between mothers and daughters. Now, I do want you to kind of elaborate on why that's important to you and what other people can experience when they hear you at the conference.
Yes, I'm absolutely excited about the conference. I think that it's so needed. I think that it is so important. And I feel like it touches home for me because I am a caregiver for my mom. And I think it's really important that as as you grow up, you see your mom and your family, your parents a certain kind of way, but at some point in life the roles begin to change and it's different. And I think it's very important for people that are coming up and people as well as our elders to understand both sides of what each person is feeling, because as people get older they go through a lot of different challenges. They're closer and closer to death, they're losing more and more of their friends, of their families, they're having more health issues, and it's kind of like you have to become from a place of understanding. And so I'm really excited about bringing the intention of allowing people to understand what that looks like. What does it look like to have a person or your parent aging and the roles start to be switched and you're taking more on a parent role, and how that feels to you, as well as what does that look like to your parents?
I think that is so powerful. I think the first speakers call we had, that was one of the conversations you brought up about being compassionate. Actually knowing what it looks like, because that's a new thing, being a caregiver at earlier ages. And then also, running the businesses and doing all the passionate things we want in our lives. How do you find that you overcome a lot of the challenges when we talk about generational gaps? We mean there's things that the generation before us were not able to do that we can bridge that gap. And there are generations after us that we can teach, but they're going to also have to understand and have a level of compassion for our generation. So looking at what that looks like, let's talk about that. What are some of the challenges that you feel like we go through when it comes down to the caregiving aspect through generations?
Some of the challenges, I think that because we grew up in different areas, we have a different concept of what love is. So typically, elders think love is sacrifice. And it could be a portion or a part of that, but I don't think that it should be sacrificed to the point that you are detrimental to yourself. And so I think re-examining and redefining what love looks like, I think having open communication allows a lot of the challenges to dissipate when we're having open dialogue and you're explaining how you feel, how this affects me, and giving them an opportunity to see how what you're doing affects them or how they're perceiving it, because a lot of things boil down to perception and how we're perceiving things. And if we can change how we're viewing it, our emotions and feelings can change about it. I think it's also about walking in preparedness, kind of seeing things and going ahead and taking care of them before they become a problem. You know, a lot of times as our parents age, they don't feel like doing the same things that they did. And even in that, it's scary for the child. It's like, oh my God, where's my safety net? Like, mom, you used to do A, B, C, and D, and now you're not taking control of that. It's my turn and it's all this responsibility. So even in myself, I have to reevaluate what my role is and how do I navigate that without getting overwhelmed. And how I do that is by giving my own self grace, number one, knowing that it is okay if everything doesn't get done, and walking in preparedness, creating a list, creating a schedule, making sure that I am spending time with my mom. So, like, I mean, growing up, I had a thing anyway. When I came home from school or work or whatever it is, I always sat at my mother's feet and I talked to her for about 30 minutes to an hour every single day. It was just something that I did. I do that to this day. Now today though, it may get a little bit longer because my mom is, not really going out, and so she wants to talk more. And so sometimes I have to balance that out. But I even notice that my own children, when they come, they do the same thing to my mom. So I absolutely love that. But those are some of the ways that I overcome that challenge. I'll make sure that when I get home that I first spend some time with her before I go off and do anything else.
That's a beautiful thing. Intentionality is really important because there are some things I believe that we all go through in life differently as women, women entrepreneurs, right? Caregivers, support systems for our families. We're all different people. And so we're going to bring different things to the table. For what I heard from you is just the compassion through the generations and being knowledgeable that every generation is learning more, right, than the generation behind them. So, I'm just blown away by how powerful just having the conversation in the room is going to be. So y'all, I'm going to drop the link to grab your tickets, but I do want Nikki to talk a little bit more about the intention about bridging those gaps, right? We talked about challenges. Let's talk about what you think we need to prepare for more in the future when it comes down to bridging those gaps. And we'll talk more about this, guys, on the speakers panels, and we'll give more in depth, information about this from each speaker. But from your standpoint, Nikki, maybe like a word of advice for someone who may be going through some of those challenges right now. And saying what kind of things that they can do to maybe provide more space for themselves. We know self-care is really important for us as women nowadays, and so we do have to understand what it looks like to have the compassion and to take care of ourselves. What do you have to say about that?
I absolutely think self-care is important. Um, how do I add self-care in? My number one thing about self-care, because I've seen, number one, my dad died of alcoholism. Number two, my mom has went through several surgeries due to the deterioration of her spinal cord. And so my number one thing that I do for self-care is work out, because working out, I feel like it's preventing me from encountering those things. It's also helping strengthen my mind. It's helping to prevent Alzheimer's, all of these things. Because what's most important to me is that when I become that age, that my children still have a functional mom that they can come and ask advice for or lean on or depend on if needed. So that's my number one method of self-care. No matter what happens, I'm getting up and I'm doing that, because that starts my day, my routine. Um, Sometimes when you are having so many things or facing so many challenges, you also have to add reward in there. And sometimes working out isn't necessarily a reward. It's something that you know that you need to do for your future self. So, some of the rewards that I give myself is I have a cup of cacao tea every morning. It's a healthy, it's made from chocolate, so it gives me that dopamine. It's like, okay, you worked out, now you get a cup of this hot cacao tea. So I give myself rewards throughout the day, or I give myself some time to read. I'm not really a TV watcher, so like I might get an opportunity to read a fiction book because I'm so focused on nonfiction and learning and elevating myself that sometimes you need a break from that too. So I give myself space to read some fiction books that makes me feel like, oh, I'm watching this great TV show, but I'm using my own imagination. I also make time to spend with friends, and um, I also take baths, just providing space just in your daily routine of taking baths, having a sleep time, making sure that you get your rest, because all of those things are important. Making sure that you eat healthy, even if that means meal prepping, really defining what you want your life to look like and then putting that into perspective without, excluding your parents or your elders or whoever you're taking care of, and kind of putting them on that same schedule.
Wow, that's so much good stuff for us to just kind of take with us. And just for those of y'all who are popping in, hey Nisa, hey, we have Ladavia, we have, I think David jumped in there. So I want to say hi to everyone, but also make sure you guys share this live. Also, tell your people to get their tickets because we are selling tickets now. Every time I turn around, I'm like another ticket is sold, and we are looking to make sure that the people that need to be in the room to really get through some of a lot of these challenges that we as women entrepreneurs face every single day. Even having the simple conversations like you and I are having the conversation now, but we've had these conversations a lot. So it's empowering because we see where we can bridge the gaps because those conversations are happening. So for those of us who don't have that safe space, we're creating that. So make sure you guys tell your friends. Also, I want to just lean into the last part of this live stream, right? Because we only took 20 minutes for you guys. I wanted to give Nikki a spotlight because she's highlighted a lot of our events. She brought her poison bar to our garden parties. If you guys have never been to her garden party, you need to come to the next one. But I didn't tell Nikki, but I'm definitely going to have some poison bar material at the conference at the bar area, okay? Because we have a alcoholic bar, and then we're going to have a non-alcoholic option for you guys. I do want to also, though, before we digress, is tell them about what that means, because when we hear the poison bar, we may think, what the heck is poison bar? Okay, so let's break that down for people who are also going to be coming to the conference and may want to experience that part of what you do as well.
Yes. So I named the poison bar because when we do the etymology on the word poison, it means medical medicine. And so anytime that you put something in your body that extracts or pushes something out, it's considered to be a poison. And so I wanted to use a little bit of play on words because it's also the opposite of, drinking alcohol. Alcohol is a carcinogen, it's harmful to our bodies, and it was a play on words, and then it's just something that's catchy. It's something that people are going to remember. And so those are the reasons why I chose the poison bar as the name.
I love it. And tell us a little bit about those products because I've gotten to experience the mushroom tea, the wine. I mean, there's just some amazing things that you curate yourself into your products. And I would love for them to know what that is. And also will give people an opportunity to even get what they need today from you if that's something that they need in their life. So tell us what kind of products go along with your poison bar.
Yeah, so I have two products that I sell. One of them is called the Neo Noir wine. It's a non-alcoholic wine. And I came up with this wine because when I went on my first year of sobriety, I used certain in particular herbs that would help calm and relax my body. And those same herbs are the herbs that I chose to put inside the non-alcoholic wine. They're herbs like valerian root and passion flower that really calm the body down, and lavender as well. I put ashwagandha in there because it's a really good mood shifter. It can shift your mood very, very quickly. There's a hibiscus in there for anxiety. There's pomegranate, grapes. I mean, it's filled with so many different herbal and fruit type things. You really have to try it. It tastes really, really good. It tastes almost like you're drinking wine, as far as taste is concerned, but it's absolutely non-alcoholic. And it gives people an opportunity to still feel a part when other people are drinking. The other drink that I make is a matcha mushroom tea. It has 8 different mushrooms in it. The mushrooms are the adaptogens in there, and it really helps out with brain functioning. And a lot of people like it because sometimes, especially now during the cold weather, you want something hot, something exciting, but something that's still going to nourish your body. And so in each one of my products, I put adaptogens in there because adaptogens are just different roots, herbs, and plants that bring the body back into homeostasis or balance so that we can stay balanced through all of these stressful times. Because a lot of times we're going and drinking either due to social or we're stressed. And in order to counteract that, I make drinks that help you with that stress so that you can lean towards adaptogen drinks versus actual alcohol.
I love it. And we're not going to get into all of the specifics because you guys are going to have to follow Nikki, the Poison Bar at the Poison Bar. And also, I want you all to check out, the benefits. After Nikki told me about her brand, I was like, wait a minute, this is good because there are some things, of course, you want to talk to your doctor about whatever you're putting in your body. But as we go through phases as women in our lives, we're like, what's good for us? What helps us? We have women going through menopause, perimenopause. We have all kinds of issues that women are having within our bodies. But we want to still have that relaxation, right? To chill and have a glass. Well, this is an alternative. And I thought it was great because when I tried it for the first time with my bartending background, y'all, okay? So, this is how it is. It's like I'm gonna taste. I'm gonna want to know, is the flavor right? Is it giving the same? And it was so nice to know that my body was relaxed, chill, just like I was having a glass of wine without the other stuff, right? I had the good poison, not the bad poisons. So thank you so much, Nikki, for bringing so much value to the live stream today. And if you all have questions, feel free to reach out to Nikki. Where can they reach you at, Nikki? How would you prefer them to reach out for questions?
They can reach me on TikTok, Instagram at the Poison Bar. I'm also on YouTube. I'm Lady Poison on YouTube. So that's where they can reach me at.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it. And
And
just to give, thank you, Nikki. Just to give you the credit where it's due, guys, because we have community members like Nikki Tate and people who have been around since the last conference, because she did some giveaways, surprisingly, right? I think you did a giveaway at the last conference. I don't know. We bought some stuff though because she was ready with her neo noir, and that was the first time I experienced it. But thank you for coming back again as a speaker and also bringing more of what you brought last time, because we're going to be buying some stuff, some mushroom tea. If y'all want mushroom tea and you don't get it before the conference, you'll get it at the conference. If you didn't try the neo noir, you'll get it at the conference. Okay. But in the meantime, guys, make sure you follow, make sure you like, share, and then also make sure that you get your tickets. Nisa said, I love the concept. Absolutely. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Nisa. And we will see you on the next live stream. Y'all have an amazing holiday and y'all be safe out there.